Hello students, now we will start the 7th module of advanced organizational behavior, that is organizational dynamics. In organizational dynamics, as usual, we have the 5 different lectures, and first lecture, organizational culture. Let us have some interaction with the abstract organizational dynamics. Organizational dynamics is a complex relationship and interaction within an organization. It is one of the very complex issue of any organization, since organizations are the particular system, whereas every time we need to change at different level in different activities. In absence of dynamism, we can't adjust any kind of change, any kind of development in organization. Organizational culture is one of the important component of organizational dynamics. It shows the shared culture and norms in the organization created over a period of time. And this is one of the issue which directly affect on organizational effectiveness and of course the employer branding. So many things we will be studying this particular lecture, not only definition, meaning, of course so many things like as what way organizational culture can be created, that is so-called process of creation of organizational culture. Benefits of organizational culture, types of organizational culture, importance of organizational culture, problems with strong culture, most important elements in managing culture. In a nutshell, you can say several aspects starting from its origin and also its implementation and its effects, all are the issues to be analyzed very systematically to this particular lecture. Start from the very beginning, that is definition of organizational culture, that is so-called introduction. It is the way of life in organization. It includes everything happening in organization since long: punctuality, dress code, company logo, behavior of staff, open communication, etc. Definition given by Agu 2014 and Sharpa 2016. It's very much clear. Organization culture is a set of values, belief, norms developed in long run in the organization. Organizational culture is a shared value of being, thinking, acting, collective and coordinated people with reciprocal expectation. Sharpa 2016. What does it mean exactly? As I told, it is the shared values, belief and norms created over a period of time, and it has the distinct identity, distinct feature, and organizations supposed to be known by their distinct identity, which is organizational culture. Now, how does culture do? What culture do basically? What is the issues of culture? Boundary defining, conveys sense of identity, facilitates the generation of commitment, shapes the attitude and behavior of employees. These are the 4 important things which is very much clear, one must be knowing. Every institution, every organization, culture defines everything. That is boundary defining, that means organization, what exactly role of organization, for what purpose this organization is. Sense of identity, that means you will be knowing this organization has the separate identity, generation of commitment, it's very important part. Particular organizational people having their specific structure of commitment shapes the attitude, behavior of employees. Every employees or other person, those who are working in this particular organization, they have their unique behavior and attitude. Now see characteristics of organizational culture. Since this course is not for only PG students, it is for UG, PG and research scholars. So I need to convey some of basic part of organizational culture also. It is the collective culture. Collective culture means organizational cultures emerge from the shared action and beliefs of a group rather than from individual efforts alone. Sense of belonging, this is very important. It involves adopting the shared values and practice of the group. Emotional influence, culture carries emotional significance, helping members navigate uncertainties and providing stability through shared meanings. Historical context, organizational culture is deeply rooted in an organization's history, tradition, making it resistant to quick change. Symbolism, symbols are powerful criteria of culture requiring interpretation to uncover their deeper meanings. Constant evolution, although tied to history, culture is not fixed. It involves continuously under the influence of various internal and external factors. Diffuse nature, in complex environment, culture elements becomes more dispersed and harder to define clearly. Now see, this is very basically the characteristics of organization culture. As I have shown you some of slides, some of important information as far as its characteristics is concerned. It is mentioned clearly that culture is something distinct, something unique, which is long term in practice. Organizational culture, climate, both are different thing. In next my lecture, you will be studying exactly how climate differs from culture. Now see, organizational culture and its definition is very complex. It's not defined in any law. It's the issue, basically one can trace that this organizational culture, value, beliefs and norms somewhat different from others. Now functions of organizational culture, what are the functions organizational culture plays? Control employees' behavior, reduce employee turnover. Distinct identity, sense of identity to members, stability of social system. This is very important functions of organizational culture. As I told that this particular organizational culture, the way of functioning, it is the creation of certain organization. It's not generalized practice. Every organizations, they have their own practice, ethos and other norms which create separation. Your organizations differs from others. Stability of social system is very important part. Your organization identity and value that creates some kind of impression in system, social system. Now process of creating culture is very important part. What way you can create the culture of your organization, establishing value, what is it exactly? Identifying some creation which can create difference, that is the value. Creating vision, your long term vision, long term purpose. Identify implementation strategy. Then your purpose is there, basically then now create its implementation strategy, reinforcing cultural behavior. That means culture creation is not the task of one particular day. As I told earlier slides also, it is the system, it is the organizational practice which has been created not only one particular period of time, since long over a period of time. The exactly creation of vision, suppose you want to create some kind of identity of your organization, value system, and what's his vision, why you are doing this kind of things, and what way you can implement it. Suppose you want to create some kind of unique behavior of your employees. So you need to clear exactly, if you nurture this kind of behavior to your employees, and what's your vision basically, for what purpose, and what way you can impose this kind of things in different group of people. Since in organizations diversity is there, so many people are there from different parts of the country across the globe. So that cases imposition may be wrong. So implementation part is very important, adoption is also one of the important part. Now see types of organizational culture, dominant culture, subculture. Dominant culture means it is very strong culture, dominant, that is established rule norms, everyone has to be followed. Subculture is some particular group of people using the specific culture, because in organizations you have the different ethnic groups, different cultural groups. Some particular groups people, they have their own culture. There is a subculture. Dominant culture again, and the counter culture. Some people, they are not believe in the dominant culture, they counter it, they oppose it, and they identify their own culture. This is also very important. Strong and weak culture. Strong culture is very powerful, means it is the core value of organization, every people has to follow. Weak culture, it is not defined well, and people are not believing this kind of culture, as a result people are not following. Authoritarian culture and the participative culture. Authoritarian culture, that means some kind of imposition through the practice of dictatorship, and you have to obey, you have to follow this particular culture. But this particular things, participative culture, there is the shared values with common participation, understanding the value system of other people, this way create, implement the particular type of culture. So these are all basically the types of organizational culture. Now positive impact of organizational culture, distinct organizational identity, distinct employees care identity, distinct individual identity, distinct customer care identity, supreme of organizational interest. That means it is all about the identity. That means you must be knowing exactly when an employee speaks something, then you will be knowing these people are from this particular organization, and that is the identity. Dress code, say for example, one of the good example, this particular organizations have people are having particular dress code, particular dress people are following. Some people are using the same salutation, say for example Jai Hind, every people are using Jai Hind and Namaste, something like that. So these are all the things of, particular identity of particular organizations. I think that has been created, some people, some organizations gesture by using some kind of other norms. Now negative impact of organizational culture, that is also negative impact also, barriers to change. Some cases, it's very impractical to adopt some kind of culture, that because of there is always chances of resistance. Barriers, barrier to diversity, different group of people are there, different other group of people are there, surface diversity, depth diversity. Sometimes people won't follow the particular norms of certain organization. This is also one kind of negative impact, barrier to merger and acquisition. I think we have the great example when cross-cultural merger and amalgamations, that is the two different organizations from different parts of the world, that cases culture unification may be the most complicated task. These are all the some of barriers. Now see, strengthening organization culture, what way you can strengthen the organizational culture, like as the organizational heroes, ceremonies and rites, stories, ritual, language, material, symbols. These are all the things basically, uniqueness you can show, ceremonies, particular organizations. Say for example, we are doing some kind of ceremonies of foundation day, something like that, 50 years of completion of particular organizations and some other achievements, something like that. Sometimes you can do this kind of things, ritual, stories, we just create some kind of stories for the organizations. Oftenly we just disseminate this kind of information among the different group of people. We are using the specific type of language to these particular organizations when you communicate with a different group of people. These are all the techniques or structuring or strengthening organizational culture. Now, importance of organizational cultures. Why organizational cultures? Social control, social glue, aids sensing, aids sense making. These are all the things, importance of organizational culture. There is the endeavor of every organization, create uniqueness, create identity, create distinction. So, it has the great value. You may have the large customer base, you may have the good employees, you may have the employer branding, you may have the zero tolerance grievance, and you may have the zero tolerance any kind of adversity, boost performance, shapes behavior, drives motivation, aids change, promotes more innovation, attracts talent, enhance teamwork, influence leadership, makes impact. I think it has a lot of benefits. I think that university is concerned, you can find different universities, they have their unique logo, they have their unique kulgit, and they have the unique gesture, unique behavior of teachers, faculty members and other people. Same things you can find in some organizations also. You can find that these organizations is distinct, somewhat different from others. That because of their own value, shared values, norms and some other practices. Now, see, problem with strong culture. Suppose you want to create the strong culture. That means every people has to follow, that is the established norms of certain organizations. Now, what is the problem basically? That might be incompatible with the organization's commitment. This happens sometimes, that because of this particular strong culture, some peoples, they have some kind of problems incompatible with the organization's environment. Strong cultures focus attention on one mental model. Strong cultures suppress dissenting values from subculture. I think these are all the sum of things basically we need to clear exactly. Strong cultures suppress dissenting values from subculture. It is very important, every organization, some of subculture are there. Strong culture is established, subculture is not established, few people are following. So, sometimes it is suppressed. And strong culture focus attention to one mental model. I think they are using one particular model only. Other model we suppress. This is also one of the sum of problem of strong culture. Now, most important elements in managing culture. Now, see, leadership has the great role in creation of culture of any organization. What leaders pay attention to, what leaders react to crisis, what leaders react to crisis, how leaders behave, how leaders allocate rewards, how leaders hire and fire individuals. I think most important elements, that is the managing culture that comes from leadership. What kind of leadership are there basically? What leaders expect from other people? What way leaders behave? I think communication within the organizations, among the different group of people may not be such problem, such adverse aspect of culture. But thing is that one leader if misbehave, using some kind of adverse comments, that creates some negativity in culture. So, leadership role is very important in particular organizations. Very important part is that any culture, that what way you develop it, keeping in interest of every employees and other stakeholders. It is not to be equally applicable to customers, it is equally applicable to all of stakeholders. So, see what kind of people, what kind of demography, what kind of employees are there basically, accordingly you just nurture, develop, cultivate and adopt some kind of culture. Now, some of questions are there basically, that is for your ready reference. Which factor facilitates the generation of commitment in employees? I think which factor facilitates the generation of commitment in employees is very important basically when we talk about the culture basically for employees commitment. So, what type of culture? Either it is supportive culture, authoritarian culture, subculture, strong culture, weak culture, which culture helps to build employees commitment, what are the functions of Organizational culture is very important part. Why culture is needed? Which factors strengthen the culture of organizations? What are the benefits of strong culture? So these are all the things, questions basically you may have answered out of this discussion. Now see some of reference I am telling you. You can see the good research paper, good journal, some of journals article I prescribe here which may be helpful, because it's not the things that particular organizations are using particular culture, it is to be followed by other organizations, not like that. So research going on in different issues in the context of different organizations. So unless you study the different reference articles, you may not have complete knowledge about the organizational culture. So these are all the sum of Order HO 2080 Khanka SS Organization Behavior, Robinson Judge 2011 Organization Behavior 14th editions. These are all the books that can help you basically for your ready reference for a better understanding of organizational culture. Thank you very much for listening.